in a war. Uh, I will not say much about it. Just two lines I will say about it. That in a war, if war happens, then so many means everybody is killing the other one. So this is what means, you are killing somebody's loved one and they are killing yours. So this is not a right thing. And in this situation, when people are killing others' loved ones or others' people or they are somebody's loved one. So everybody is having that pain. They are suffering from that pain. So that's why I think no one wins in a war. That's what only I can say, right? Well, because I am not getting much about it. So I think that is the only I can say. That is the thing I can say. Yeah, who will say now about it? Yes, yes, as a Niazi.
Yeah, so thank you so much, ma'am. So the topic is that no one wins in a war. Yeah, very rightly said. As we have seen, especially in the last century, where we have seen World War One and World War Two, how many people lost their lives. In World War One, there are almost 30 million people who died. 30 million. And in World War Two, there are 60 million people. Means that double the number in World War Two. That those are the numbers at that time. It's a 3 to 4% of the population of entire world that died in those wars. So who claim that they won the war? Which country claims that they won the war on the loss of those people? There is no one who wins the war, but there are so many losers. Or you can say there are so many person who lost their lives, and they have nothing to do with the war. They are the peaceful people who just want peace in their homes, just want to work, just want to live with their family, but somebody bombed at their houses and somebody killed them. They don't know why they are dying. They actually don't know why these people are bombing on us. Why these people are sending rocket at our houses. What do we do? And just people, for the sake of their pride, politician, leaders, I don't call them the leaders, who who rule the countries, they, for their sake of pride, they are put their countries in conflict. Same in the case we have seen in Ukraine and Russia right now. Uh, we have seen Vladimir Putin put their country into the war. But and who is suffering? The both of the countries are suffering. Ukraine is suffering. Russia is also suffering. But not only these two countries are suffering. The whole world is suffering right now. You have seen the amount of inflation, the fuel prices all around the world. They are right skyrocketing, and everyone is affected by it. So you cannot say that during uh, the war between two countries. It is only the conflict between two countries. Nobody can be affected by it. The world is actually affected by it. Especially, for example, in the case of the nuclear war. If any country use their nuclear weapons, or both the countries, it would put the devastating effects on Earth. Uh, if you take example, in Japan, the US bombed two nuclear bombs, in one in Hiroshima and one in Nagasaki. And the next 30 years, their soil would not be able to fertile. That once a very fertile land, but it loses their fertility for 30 years. So I think nobody. It is a very strong statement that people think, or the ruler thinks, that if they fight a war, they win, and uh, they strengthen their pride. But in reality, they lose so much, and there's nothing they gain. We have some more examples I want to share. In a case of USSR, which is now Russia is, USSR is actually a giant in, after the World War II. It's Russia, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and there's so many countries. They are a single land, and they are called the USSR, but they invaded Afghanistan, and fighting 10-year war in Afghanistan, they will find nothing, but they actually lose, and they actually broken down. Now you have find the new countries like Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. They are now the independent countries, and Russia, of course. And also we have seen quite recently that that US leave Afghanistan, but they fight actually a 20 years of war there. So what's the use of it? So I think we need some leaders in this world who just realize that you can resolve the problems through a dialogue, uh, through say the words, not through the war. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ehsan Yasin. You are very right. Yeah, we can. The uh, things can be materialized through the talks. It is not necessary that the war should happen, but people don't want to materialize like with the thoughts or with the talking process. They want a word, and if war happens, yeah, there is so much of bloodshed, and the loss of money, the loss of uh, other things. So there is everywhere there is a loss. You can't say you can win. You are very right. You are very right. The things can be materialized by talking each other, or by sitting at a place and taking a decision, whatever is agreed between both the parties, or whosoever are there in all the parties. You're very right. Thank you so much, Ehsan Niazi. Yes, Ruby, will you say something?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Sorry, ma'am. I didn't understand anything about this.
Oh, you didn't understand the thing, the topic.
Yeah, ma'am.
No one wins in a war. No one wins. It means if a war happens, everybody is losing something, everybody is losing uh, something or the other. They are losing. Nobody wins in a war. If war happens, see, you will lose your money, you will lose your weapons, you will lose your bullets, you will lose your the people are losing the basic, the main thing, the human. They are fighting, and they're giving away their life to win. But actually, they are not winning. They are losing the people. They are very precious people of the country. With the people of the country, people only, the country is there. And when people will die, then what will be the use to win? When people are not there, then there is no winner. That there, it means they had lose that war if they had won also. But when people are not there, it means nothing is there, because country is made up of with the people only. No? If there are people, then only the country exists.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anyone else wants to say? Jamil, will you say now? Jamil, are you there? No. I think there is not much on this topic to say. I don't think anybody will say now. No, nobody is there actually. Nobody is still joining. Fine, then I think nothing is to say. As will you say more about it? Whatever I had said, is it all right?
Yes, yes. Whatever you have said, it's a very good points that you have mentioned. And yes, as what I have said before, uh, you know, there is no use of a war. Especially, for example, if you take an example between India and Pakistan. I don't know. I'm actually from Pakistan, and I'm sure there are people here from India, and we have seen after after a year to the people talks about a war, conflict, and everything. Quite recently, we have seen in 2019, uh, Indian fire jets, they bombed in Pakistan, and then Pakistan retaliate, and then Pakistan capture a pilot Abhinandan, and then we send him back for the peace. That's all the entertainment actually.
Mhm.
But there is no use of those things. People look, we actually like war. For example, as far as we are safe, we are actually enjoying that people are fighting, that people are uh, put their countries into war. We actually entertain, we actually watch YouTube videos and things. But when it's our turn, when someone attacked our land, then we say that's not right. I think we have to change our mindset. We, okay, so look, the change comes within us. You don't say that this is right and this is wrong. You show yourself, you put yourself as an example. So I think change start within us, and yeah, and the new participants join as well. I think I'm sure that he has some points, Kamran, to share on this topic as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, Kamran, will you share something on this topic? Kamranullah? I don't think he wants to say something on this. Kamranullah, will you say something? I think he is a very good speaker. Earlier also he has joined.
Okay.
Akra. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think we should end up now the session. Do you want to say something, Hasan, on this topic?
Yeah. Okay. So I have many things in my mind to share about this topic. I don't think it's a dry topic to speak on. The wars, they are always happening somewhere. The war is happening somewhere in this world, and you
Right.
can talk
Yeah.
about this war, uh,
Mhm.
the reason why it started, how much it affects the people, what are the causes, and all. So I don't think it's a dry topic. Even people can speak against on that topic. Some people can say that no, some countries wins the war.
Mhm.
So that's actually maybe.
But I think like nobody wins because if you see that Iraq war, that America has captured the Iraq and what they had done, nothing. They had destroyed everything, their oil and everything. They had destroyed their people, their oil, everything they had destroyed.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, but
So,
most of the wars like that, 95% of war that which there are no winners actually. But there are few wars when some countries capture the weaker countries. For example, one country who can attack on a weaker country and then they capture their land and make and include themselves
Hello.
into their country. So that's actually, you can say, a win, but that's not actually a win. I want to say one thing as well, because in World War II,
mhm,
France and Germany are the enemies in that war. But uh, during World uh, uh, during World War II, they actually stopped the war for 1 day in between, for 1 day.
okay,
And those people who are actually uh, firing on each other and fighting on each other, they start playing football and playing sports between
mhm,
each other in a friendly way for 1 day. Those who are on the verge of taking a life of each other, now all of a sudden they are uh, they are the friends for 1 day because they stopped the war in 1 day. So actually, war is nothing but manipulating the minds of the people of the country in the name of the patriotism, in the name of love and nationalism and all, which is uh, which is actually uh, not good for the society.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, but if somebody wins, suppose somebody thinks, actually nobody wins whatever I feel. But if you can say that that country has won, still they had lose their manpower, their valuable people of the country, isn't it?
Look, yeah, they lose their manpower. For example, you can say India won the 1971 war,
Mm-hmm.
that they have separated Bangladesh, and their what we can say, their main goal accomplished when they broke the Pakistan between the two. like one side of the North Pakistan,
Mhm,
South Pak or East Pakistan or West Pakistan. So they actually win the war. You can say they won the war by
mhm,
separating the two country and achieving their goals. So yeah, there are few examples. You cannot say that no one wins the war.
mhm,
But yeah, but it's actually the most of the time, like the human life is very precious, and we can dialogue to resolve the issue, because at the end, even US and Japan, US bomb Japan, but now they are the friendliest country. They are the most friendliest country in the world. So why they bomb Japan then?
mhm.
So yeah, there are many question arises.
Yeah. There are many things, but I still think that if anybody wins, still they lose.
Yeah. Okay, so I think Kamran wants to say something. Yeah,
Okay,
Kamran.
okay, okay. Yes, Kamran.
Okay, thank you, and good evening from my side.
Good evening. Oh
It's
no, I think network issue. Yes, yes, Kamran.
yeah, thank you. Conversation is a good topic. Can you hear me?
Okay, so Kamran, there is some
Can you
network
guys
issue.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
now we are hearing you, but there are some
Hassan?
network issue from your side. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but
yes. We can hear you, but there are
yeah,
some
okay. So the
distortion
point.
from your side. Yeah.
yeah, right now it's
Y-
clear.
Yes, clear.
Kamran, I think there is network problem.
Is it clear now?
Yes, now it is clear.
Okay, so what I was saying I was saying that it's a very good topic. I think most debatable like other topics in the 21st century. Uh, Actually, I don't have much to say about, but I think it's a very famous quotation by some political leader. Maybe no one wins in a war. So yeah, we know the fact that both the sides, when they indulge in a war, they inflict high loss on each side, and there is no actual, there is no actual win from any side. Nobody wins the war. No side wins the war. Uh, the thing is that instigates my mind is like we should first discuss what actually causes a war. Like there are so many perspectives. There is that biological perspective, there is that nationalist, and so many others. And a friend that was talking about Ehsan, so he has vast knowledge over this topic. But the thing is, like, we say that yeah, nobody wins in a war, right? That's the that's the a sort of theme of the conversation. But if there is like nobody wins in a war, why countries indulge in a war? That's, I think, the actual point we should discuss. That if nobody really wins in a war, why country sorry, why countries go to a war, and why they indulge in activities that inflicts loss on both the sides.
Yes, yes, Kamran. You're very right. Nobody wins the war. Why? Why people are indulging in? Because of the leaders. I don't call them the leaders, the ruler. Some of the psychic leaders, like you can say the Vladimir Putin, who actually start a war against Ukraine, and there are many just for the pride, just for in the name of nationalism and patriotism, they actually start the war. Because, as I mentioned before, when you see that two people are fighting, because, for example, in every movie, there's a fighting scene. Why? Because people enjoy wars, people enjoy when someone is fighting with others. It's a form of entertainment as well. So that's why, for fun, for entertainment, and for pride, they actually start the war. That's what I think.
I think to become more powerful, so
Yes.
that the people can whatever they say, people will follow them, and people will do that thing. So they want to become the powerful person or powerful country, so that everybody will follow them or will accept whatever they want to do or whatever they say.
Yeah, yeah,
like
that's
like
also
uh,
true.
like America, what they are doing, they are not capturing any lands or something. They are just making the other countries fight, or fight, or wants to capture the some land for some time, and they are just fighting, and then that's it. What they are doing, they are not doing anything. I mean, they are not greedy for the land or money. They are just they want just power. They want to become powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game of a power, and basically there are three main power in the world, you can say, like USA and China and Russia, and even India is also emerging as a superpower. So yeah, it's all about who is most powerful country in the world, and they can show time to time uh, uh, to the world that who is most powerful. Yeah, that's also the reason. Yes. Yeah, I think Mohammed Naeem wants to say something. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mama.
Yes. So, man, can I introduce myself first?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Ma'am, from Pakistan. My name is Mohammed Naeem. Currently, I'm in fifth semester in BS English.
Okay.
Sir, first of all, I will talk about, so I will give some my argument about what you asked. You said before this quote, ma'am. Sir,
Yes.
sir, but if you will see to the future, he invaded in Ukraine. So it is very good for us to for Asia, because if you will see that America was imperialism, is doing imperialism all over the world. So he escaped and he saved us from the America imperialism. Therefore, he did this war and he started the war in Ukraine. So it is one of the positive point for Asian people. So and I do not have that immense knowledge about war. Currently, I studied one book, The Dirty Wars. In Dirty Wars, the writer explained the wars which the America started on Gulf countries and Afghanistan and Pakistan. So he introduced that. So the America invention in the Gulf countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. So in this country, he spent a lot of things. He spent money, his harams and everything, and he killed a lot of innocent people. But he earned nothing. In last, he lose his wars in all these countries. So I do not have enough knowledge about in World One and World Two, because I did not read about these wars. But I read one book, Dirty Wars. Currently, I was reading this book, The Dirty Wars. So in this book there is mentioned just the Gulf countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. I have knowledge about this. The America is war in these countries.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed Naeem. Yes, Abhishek Tiwari, you wanted to say? Abhishek, yes, Abhishek.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to say that uh, uh, no one wins in war. Yeah, exactly. We can understand it from past, uh, like we read about so many words from books, uh, uh, like war is not solution for any of the problem.
Mm-hmm,
War brings so many disasters,
mm-hmm,
like we can see in uh, Russia and Ukraine war also. So I think that if any country have some problem to any other country, so uh, war is not a solution of it. So every country have should discuss on it. So they should try to resolve every problem through the discuss uh, uh, and do not to go with the war, because war comes so much disasters, like we can see there are so much food shortage also comes in so many countries after uh, Russia and Ukraine wars. So I just never support the war, and so many countries have just understand these things that they should avoid wars,
mm-hmm.
because yeah, if any country start war, so the two country are go so many years back, like we can see in Ukraine and Russia also, like America is supporting Ukraine, and and Russia is just doing disasters in Ukraine, so it's not good for both of the country. And I just want to say that war is a, a, not any option, and any country can and any country should never support the war, uh, like so many countries wants to do war, like our neighbor China also just want to do war with India, like in. So I think just war is not any solution. It brings any country to so many years back, and they have to just understand that war is not solution of any problem. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Abhishek Tiwari. Yes, you are very right. War is not only the solution of any problem. It can be resolved by exchanging words or taking any decision at one point.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you
Thank you
so much.
so much. Thank you so much. Yes, Pakas. Now it's your turn.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm absolutely fine. How are you? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, I am fine. Today topic is no one wins in a war. Exactly. I don't have information about the topic, but I just want to add.
whatever it is, whatever is in my mind.
Mhm.
No one wins in a war. Actually, this is a true. When two countries have a war, and at the end, no country would or will win in a war, because every country have to waste his resources, his human resources, his financial resources, and if country gets succeeds in defeating the other country, even then the country who's on a winning stage have to had already sacrificed so many human resource and financial resource. So it is a very right that no one wins in a war. If you see that now America attacked upon Afghanistan, Iraq, and America spent millions of rupees and also uh, losses their human their forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. But then at the end, what uh, get they get nothing. They just have to go from that countries after spending huge financial and human resources. So if we analyze why the countries go for the war, I would like to say that the purpose is not to win the country, but the purpose is not to defeat the country. The purpose is the hidden objective. If we see the America, what was their objective in the Afghanistan and Iraq? Their objectives were definitely to get some minerals, some valuable minerals from land that were not available in uh, America, and they definitely got the same from Afghanistan and Iraq. So, hidden objectives are very much different than the objectives are shown in front. So if the countries have a clash with each other, they have issues with each other, then definitely what is their hidden objective? They are not that objectives are not shown at front. Rather, the issues are created to create a war, to create an environment of war. So I would like to conclude that uh, in this era, approximately every country, after analyzing the American situation in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now every country thinks that they should not go for a war, because war is not good for anyone. In fact, it is bad for the country who attack, and it is also bad for the country who is being attacked. So no one wins the war. This is true. And now the thinking process of the countries and their nations and their leaders have been developed. They don't go for they don't go for um, physical war. But no, the wars is turned into a medical war, into a financial war. For example, the countries who are developed countries, how they defeat the other countries? They defeat the other countries through their products, and they became superpower in the world. That's all from my side, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vakas. Yes,
Welcome.
yes, war is not the solution of any problem, but still, countries are preparing for the war. They are making this missiles and all. They are keeping it ready for the war. Still,
Exactly, you are
countries.
right. Exactly, you are right. The countries are making missile and they are updating their weapons and their defensive, because it's their obligation, and they are not doing with their happiness. They are doing just because they want to keep themselves safe from the attack of enemies. This is the reason. That's why every country is trying to update his weapons and missiles so that no country could attack upon them.
No, if anybody is attacked, they can revert it back, isn't it? I think they are making it as if somebody attacks, then they can also revert it, so that the other people will not capture that country. That's why I think so. Yes. Anybody else wants to say about the topic? No one. Naeem, will you say Mohammed Naeem? Will you say something else?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, the country going war in Ukraine by
Mm-hmm.
Putin. So is it beneficial for Asia or not? To means low down the imperialism of US on all over the world or on Asia.
See, as we are discussing that no war is beneficial to anybody. So how can it be? Means everybody is losing something. Yeah, it can be in a manner, but if you see in general, nobody can win with the war. But actually, I'm not. I have not studied all these things. I am not aware of this war, so I can't say whether this will be beneficial or not. But otherwise, I mean, in general, talking about it that no war is beneficial. Yes, Kamranullah, you wanted to say something on that? Kamranullah.
Yeah, thank you. So, Muhammad Naeem, I think his name is Muhammad Naeem. Yes,
Right, right.
he was asking this. I think war is never beneficial. We can see in colonial times, when the Britain and France and Spain, they were trying to colonize different parts of the world. So yeah, they were claiming that they are getting uh, benefits from those wars. They are just taking hold of the lands and the resources and everything. But in modern times, I think it has not like before. Like, it's not the way you go and take a country and you colonize without any loss and all that. I think in modern times, a war between two countries not only affect those countries, but they affect all the world, because the world is globally connected these days. It's a global village. It's global south. And uh, the war between Russia and Ukraine, it's not only weakening their economies and their resources and their institutions, but they have repercussions from for other countries, like for the US even, because US is uh, it's paying attention to the war and actually focusing on that war. But at the other hand, the China, it's economically developing. So the US, it must be economically strengthen itself. It must sustain its power. But if it will be indulged in war with Russia in different countries, then it's obvious in a few years China will become superpower. And the war between the two countries, even the Pakistan, it got so much of its imports from Ukraine. But now when there is war, there is no trade between countries, between these countries, and even there is an increase in oil and gas prices, and everything has become, there are side effects for each and every country. So yeah, obviously it's harming all the countries. We can't say that It's not, you know, it's not affecting countries. It's not only affecting Russia and Ukraine, but it's affecting whole the world. So that's what I think the
Yes,
true.
yes, 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 Cameron. Yes, you are very right that if the war happens, it does not. They are not only affecting those who are having a war in between, but other countries are also affecting. Wakash, do you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am, I want to add that
Yes, yes.
I exactly don't remember what was his name, and he was very rightly pointing out that
Kamran
now
Allah.
the Kamran, that word is globally connected. Actually, if there is a war in one country, and actually if there is a conflict between the two countries, then it affects the entire world, because in every country the diplomats of every country are available, and in this era, every country is is importing or exporting the products, whatever it is. So whenever there is a war, the import and export in that countries discontinues, and it affects the whole world at large. It could, if we see in a narrow scope, we can find that the country can win, can defeat the other country. But if we see the picture in a wider aspect, then we would see that war is not good for any country.
Yeah, it is. Every country is losing something or the other,
Yes,
isn't it?
every country is losing. If I just want to
Yes.
add, if I am not wrong, when the America attacked upon Afghanistan and Iraq, at that time Pakistan import and exports with the Afghanistan and Iraq get dropped, and it happens. The other connected countries doesn't offer their products to the countries under the war.
Yes, you are very right, Prakash. Naeem also, Mama Naeem also wants to say something. Yes, Mama Naeem.
Ma'am, if we see that why this war happened, so
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, we will go to history of this war. So ma'am, there were they signed on America, Putin and Ukraine. They signed that America also signed that if Ukraine made a atom bomb, so we will fight against him. So they both three are agreed on this that if Putin said that yes, if Ukraine made a atom bomb, so we will fight against Ukraine. And
Mm-hmm.
America also signed that if Ukraine made a atom bomb, so we will fight against him. So
Mm-hmm.
now if we see that, so the same America is getting money on this war. If we see it, go to history, ma'am, when the war done in war was started in Afghanistan. When Russia came on Afghanistan, so the America was supporting the Taliban in Afghanistan. So they were selling their arms and they were getting the money on that arms from these countries of Pakistan and Afghanistan. So now the same war is going on of Ukraine. So a few days before, America sell one missile on Ukraine to save. He said that you will save yourself about this by this missile. So now he's earning money. So Putin, in Asia, there is no one as superior power like country like Russia. So there is one country in Asia, there is one country, China and Bhutan. So these both are superpower. So if we see to China, he is not, she is not taking parts in any wars. He's just enhancing his economy to rule, and in coming days he rule all the world. So if we see to Ukraine, so to Russia, he started the war against the Ukraine, so that he controlled the imperialism of the America. So now, if we see to this in this way, so this war is very beneficial for us for India, for Pakistan, the small countries of the Asia. So we are saved from the imperialism of America. So if it war was not happen on Ukraine, so he was gaining money about in some other source from these small countries. India is means you cannot earn money by India, because India is very big countries. Your country is very progressing. Your economy is very strong. So you people are literally is rate is coming off on your countries. Yeah, India is a very good state in Asia. So except these India, there is a lot of countries they do not have a strong economy. So it will if America will made any war. So nowadays there is also hybrid wars. So now in if you will see Pakistan, there is hybrid war is going there. So hybrid war means, ma'am, that they will first will they will reduce your there will be bring corruption. They will bring corruption. They will reduce your literacy rates. There will be terrorism, and they will weak your economy. So these are all things happen in Pakistan. So we are facing this kind of war, hybrid war. So in if you see to China, India, and these, there are few countries like Russia. So they are not facing up this kind of issues. But Pakistan, so if you see that Pakistan is also a very progressive country. So except this, we are facing this kind of issues. So there are low countries than the Pakistan. So they will immense effect of from the America if they use other kind of war. So if we see this in this way, so this war will little bit beneficial for us.
Okay. Yes, Vakas.
Yes, ma'am, I want to add something. That now there should be a consensus at world level among all the countries. And this is a time of the need that all the countries should, under a one table, decide that they should not go for any war, and they should not develop their weapons or their defense items. They will just focus upon their economic development issues. If the consensus develop among all the countries, then it would be beneficial for all the entire world. Particularly the developed countries would be able to focus upon their economic development issues rather than focusing upon their uh, defense improvement issues. But I don't think so that all the countries in the world can get agree upon this table, because every country have their objectives, and every country want to want to get their objectives by helping the other countries. Uh, this is the issue.
Yes, because you are very right that all the countries should focus basically on their economy. Yes, Kamranullah
Mhm.
wants to say something.
Yeah, I was to add something to Waka's point. So Waka's, actually there is no such thing as consensus. As you said, every country want to maximize their own objectives or interests. And there is that United Nations, but they still can't stop wars between countries. Even the US, that is the founder and the main contributor to the United Nations and other international institutions. So they are not willing to stop the war actually, because as you said, they have their own objectives and their own policies. They want to maximize their own interests. So previously, when the League of Nations was failed, they just established this United Nations just to stop these wars and the conflicts between countries, and to maintain peace. But you can see still there is this fact that countries still go to war, because when the powerful countries, when they see that there is danger to their that to their power, when they think that they have becoming weak, then they wage wars. They try to instigate other countries to go to war, and that way they keep hold on other countries. And that's what the US is doing, I think, nowadays, because they are trying to suppress China using different tactics, and uh, they have different policies. Uh, they have a sort of partnership with India nowadays, because uh, now there is no this factor for them, the Afghan factor anymore. It's not the main danger for them. Now is China is the main thing that they're concerned about. And now they are in a clash with, even they have trade. The US is uh, the main importer of China. They have become a consumer country. They use so much of Chinese products, but still you can see there is that thing, that war kind of thing between these countries. So there is no such thing as peace on international level. We are just simple people. We think that the countries should come together and decide that there should be no war and there will be peace and all that. But that's not that simple, because the leaders, they don't think how we think. They actually think differently, and they do different sorts of propagandas, and they actually want wars, because that's what they achieve power. That's the way for them to move forward and to suppress other countries, so that they hold control. And I think that's what the reality. We can't say that we should come together and just decide that there will be no war anymore. So it's not that easy.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly,
that
you are
easy
right.
because their thinking is very vast and they want to achieve such a big things that it's not easy and they can't achieve those things by just merely talking with each other. For to achieve big, they have to do big, and because they have to do big, they are doing war because they can't achieve those things by just merely talking. Yes, Vikas. Yes, you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am. He was
Yes.
very rightly saying that countries could not reach at consensus because of their own objectives and their own purposes. So that's why they will not be on a table as we are thinking. Um, exactly, it's true. But it's very right conclusion from his side. But I just want to add that conflict, any type of conflict, is not good. Whether it is in home, or whether it is at country level, or whether it is at national level or international level. So conflicts should be avoided if we want to get success in the life.
Yeah, within the country it is possible, within a house it is possible, but at the international level it is not possible. Because
Exactly,
at the
exactly,
international level they want to achieve something, that's why these things are happening. So
exactly,
conflicts
exactly,
happen because they want to achieve something, and if they had decided to achieve something, then there will be a war.
exactly, ma'am. Now the time has get changed. Now physical war is not considered. And now it's the time of medical war. You will see the COVID-19. It started from America, and sorry, it started from China.
China, yes.
And China first time made vaccine, and they earned a huge amount from their vaccines. And it's a time of medical war. They introduced a medical war, which spreaded and affected all over the world. And they also created a vaccine first time, and they earned so much amount from their vaccines.
Yes, you were right. But China has made all the countries in trouble. China, because of China, everybody was this thing. All the
Exactly,
countries are suffering because of the China, isn't it?
because of China. Firstly, it was introduced in China, then it spread in the neighboring countries, and at the end, it affected the entire world.
Yeah, and the entire world was having the lockdown because of this.
Exactly. But ma'am, it's very much clear. One who creates a dig you can say one who creates trouble for other, he must have to face the consequences as well. It's not simple that you create a trouble for other and you don't face the consequences of
Hmm.
that trouble.
Yes, yes, Kamlan.
Uh, yeah, so
Yes,
ma'am,
Kamlan.
actually we talked about war, and if you just reflect over, we were mostly talking about the superpowers, like the
Right.
clash between the US and the Russia and all that. But we didn't ponder over this, that there are wars between developing countries. Like, you can say, now we can see that in Pakistan and India there is no peace. We have temporary peace, but then there is again war, and then again and again. Like, we go to war once after a long time, after some time. So why, this thing is there prevailing in these developing countries? Why we only talk about the bigger countries, or we can say the powerful countries? There is this war between developing countries. And when we went to 1965 war, when there was this war between India and Pakistan. So both the countries knew that they are not that much developed economically, and the war will be devastating for both the countries. But still, you know, we went to war, and when later on we just signed that agreement, when the war was stopped. So we were at the verge of, there were no more ammunitions and weapons and all that, and there was great loss for both the countries. So we should also think about this, that why we only talk about bigger countries. The developing countries, they also go to war, and there are so many causes. So I think peace is nothing that we can say is the only thing that's human nature. There are these instincts in human nature that they don't live peacefully. They always go to wars after uh, some time, after, you can say, even after decades or after years. But they can't quit this thing forever, that they won't go to wars. And that's what I think the countries try to manipulate their people. Now, we went to war so many times, India and Pakistan, but what we achieved, I think nothing. Actually, they are just
Exactly,
manipulating their people.
you are right.
The leaders are just manipulating their people, and we are just we are energized, giving this sense of nationalism, and on our side they say, like, if a soldier dies, he's shaheed. On your side, there is the same concept, but actually that's manipulation. There is no such thing as shaheed in war, because when you go to war against humanity, on both the sides there are deaths and losses, injuries, and all that. So how can we say that, oh, our soldiers are dying, so they're actually martyr, they're shaheed? And on your side, it's the same concept. But our leaders, they don't think about this, that there is no such thing. They're actually manipulating their people. This a sort of propaganda. Both the countries, they just want to get attention of people. When our leaders, when they want to get attention of people, they either bring this thing war. Either Modi will talk about war, or then on our side, our prime minister will talk about war. They will talk against the United States, and they just do this kind of things to get attention, to distract people, so that people don't get the actual thing in their lives what they want. And if they can't provide the people with their needs, they can't make their people prosperous. So they bring this concept of war or propagandas and this kind of things. So I think that's actually the manipulation of common people, nothing else.
Yeah, you are very right, Kamran. In this case, yes, I also think the same way as you think. That it's a manipulation of people. They are saying something and the facts are something else. This is true.
Exactly, ma'am.
Yes.
Exactly, ma'am. I do agree with you, with both of you, that it's a manipulation at common people, so that our leader could get the vote bank, um, in the eyes of public at large, that they are doing for their countries, and their army is fighting for their humans and for country. Otherwise, it's nothing.
Yes. Yeah, Mohammed Naeem, yes, you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Kamran,
Yes.
if we see to history, like if we see to history, but before the post colonization, so there was no war. So what British did? So British when the British colonized the Asia and other countries, so they made immortal war all over the world. So these war which are now doing in all over the world, in the war which the Pakistan did, or the Modi are doing, or the other the war which they did between the Pakistan and the India. So this war did not did no there, no one was interest in this war. Neither the India had interest, nor the Pakistan had interest to do this war. So these war are did they made the British made all over the world. These are some kind of war. These are immortal. They will never die. Why? Because they did the colonization is the main problem that it made, and the British made the war all over the world. If you will see to the countries in the black, there are a majority of the black. So there before there were the post colonization there were nothing. So when the British and America did colonization in that countries, so still on that day, today the war is going. If we'll see to same the condition of India and Pakistan, Bangladesh. So when the colonization did, then the British made a colonization of India. They made a colonization, and they made means borders all over the countries. So what was the reason and what they did? So they made war, immortal war all over the world. So this war will never die. So it will continue. So because it is the reason is that the colonization. Before, if we see we in India, so they were we Pakistan and all of the Bangladesh, India. So there were one kind of majority of people. So they were doing their work, and there were a good kind of education. So what was the first? If you see to the Mekale, so what he said was what he said first. He said that I will bring modern education in the India. I will develop. I will bring the education in the India. So the people will be developed. So there will be development in science education. So what he said that the one shelf of the European books is better than all of the Bengali literature, Indian literature, and Arabic literature. So these first he said that I will develop and I will modernize these societies. I will educate the people of the India. So what and then what he did? He made elite class and middle class. So now in that day they just give education to elite class, and that elite class they made and they were ruling to us, and still this ruling are going to this day. So now we will see in India and Pakistan. I do not have immense knowledge about India, about 1%, and if we'll see to Pakistan, there are 1% from 1947 when we got Independence Day, and we got Pakistan. From that day, still today they are ruling They are one kind of one family and one people and one person people. They are getting education. They are doing rule on our Pakistani peoples, and they are every facilities are with just for them. And us middle class, we do not have a good education, nor we do not have any facilities. So the same is going on in India. There are 1% people, elite class. They are ruling and they are getting good education. If we will compare now, if we will compare I the curriculum, the curriculum which are giving Pakistan curriculum, and we will see the curriculum of education of the India. So the except the elite class, the curriculum which are giving to us, there is nothing, and we have nothing in the curriculum. This is just one kind of syllabus, and we are giving a ratification. So this ratification will be beneficial for us, and it will not make scientists or other good educationists in the future. So just they are giving they are just ruling to us. Elite class, they are ruling on us. So this did the British when they colonized the India. So this immortal war are made, and this they are going still, and they will be going. So I do not know when will stop these wars.
Yeah. Mohammed Naeem, I wanted to rectify one thing that in India, all are, even the poor class is studying. They are getting the education, and the government is giving free of cost the education to the poor one in India. I don't know about the Pakistan, but in India, government is giving free of cost education to the poor people.
Ma'am, I just want to add that in Pakistan, Pakistan government is also giving free of cost education to the poor people, but the problem is the class difference
Yeah.
in India and Pakistan. The families who belong from elite class or high middle class or upper class, they
Mm-hmm.
don't prefer for the government schools. Their education style and their education syllabus is totally different than the students who belong from government schools. This is the problem, that in both the countries there is no one curriculum. There should
Yes,
be a one uniform curriculum for all the students.
Yeah,
yes,
that's very true. Yes, that's very true. But in our country, there are two types of government schools. You can say one is the service class school, and the other one is the poor, below poverty line school, the MCD's school. You can say that. So in the MCD schools, they are getting free of cost education, and plus they are getting the lunch also. The students are getting lunch from there, and some sort of monetary amount is being given to them in the MCD schools. But in the service classes school, these are the central schools by the government, they are having very low fees. It means very less amount. They are charging fees, but it's very nominal. So the
ma'am. Yes,
yes, yes.
ma'am, it is in our constitution, in our Pakistan constitution and your India constitution, that it is the obligation of government that it will provide basically knowledge or education to the every nation people,
Yes,
in the
yes.
middle class or elite class.
Every
But
nation,
if we
yes.
take ma'am, if we'll take the curriculum and syllabus of elite class and middle class,
Mm-hmm.
so then you will find the difference. So, ma'am, I do not know the big on the elite class school in India, but I will tell, ma'am, there is school for elite class means Beacon House, okay, Graham HSN, and there is some other school. There are for elite class, and they just elite class people are getting a good education. So these education belong from they're giving from their curriculum are from the America. So what we the middle class. So this is a small curriculum, and we will many people I will do for example BS English in English literature. So there is just small curriculum. If you'll read all of, if you'll be the topper of the class, so you will learn nothing. It's just a small curriculum, and it they are giving a repetition, and they are giving small syllabus that we will not think, and they are ruling to us, and they are controlling our creativity,
Yes.
and there is
Mhm.
nothing.
You are right. That's very true. You are right. Yes, Vakas, you wanted to say?
No, ma'am, I had already
Oh, okay, fine.
done.
Okay, fine. I think now let us conclude this issue.
Today our class lasted 30 minutes.
It's now.
Although
It's
I
now.
joined late because
Yeah, it's now. I think around 20 minutes.
although I joined it, but I even then I get maximum input and maximum knowledge from this class.
Right, right. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vakas. Thank you so much, Mohammed Naeem. Thank you, everybody. Good night.